I let my brother's estranged wife move in after he cheated, and now he wants to take over my house. I'm a 29-year-old woman named Sarah, and I've always had a close relationship with my older brother, Adam, 33. We grew up in a tight-knit family in a small town in Ohio. Our parents, both teachers, instilled in us the importance of family bonds and supporting each other through thick and thin. As kids, Adam and I were inseparable. We'd spend hours playing in our backyard, building forts, and sharing our dreams for the future. Adam always talked about becoming a lawyer, while I dreamed of opening my own bakery. As we got older, Adam became more focused on his studies and career ambitions. He moved away to attend law school in New York, and our once close relationship began to show signs of strain. We'd still talk on the phone occasionally, but the easy camaraderie of our childhood seemed to fade. I stayed closer to home, attending a local college and eventually opening a small cafe in our hometown. 3 years ago, Adam returned to Ohio after landing a job at a prestigious law firm in Columbus. He brought with him his new wife, Dana, 31. They had met in New York, where Dana worked in marketing for a fashion brand. At first, I was excited to welcome Dana into our family. She seemed kind and outgoing, and I hoped we could become close friends. The first few months after their wedding seemed idyllic. Adam and Dana would often visit our parents and me for Sunday dinners, and we'd spend hours catching up and laughing together. Dana would share stories about her life in New York and her plans to start her own marketing consultancy in Columbus. Adam seemed happier and more relaxed than I'd seen him in years. However, things started to change pretty quickly. Dana decided to quit her job to focus on starting a family, a decision that Adam initially supported. They had always talked about wanting children, and with Adam's career taking off, they felt it was the right time. But as months passed without success, the strain on their relationship became noticeable. During family gatherings, I'd often find Dana alone, looking distant and upset. Adam, on the other hand, seemed increasingly stressed and short-tempered. When I tried to talk to him about it, he'd brush off my concerns, saying everything was fine and that work was just keeping him busy. About 6 months ago, Adam called me late one night. He sounded upset and asked if we could meet for coffee the next day. When we met, he dropped a bombshell: he had been having an affair with a colleague at his law firm for about 6 months. I was shocked and disappointed. This wasn't the Adam I knew, the brother who had always prided himself on his integrity and honesty. Adam explained that he and Dana had been growing apart for a while. Their inability to conceive had put a significant strain on their relationship, and he felt that Dana had become obsessed with getting pregnant. He said he felt neglected and unappreciated, and that his colleague had provided the emotional support he felt he wasn't getting at home. I urged Adam to be honest with Dana and to consider marriage counseling before making any drastic decisions. He agreed to think about it but seemed reluctant to take any immediate action. Over the next few weeks, I struggled with the knowledge of Adam's affair. I felt guilty every time I saw Dana, knowing the pain she would feel if she found out. Then, 3 weeks after Adam's confession, Dana showed up at my door in tears. She had discovered the affair after finding a series of incriminating texts and emails on Adam's phone. Adam had already moved out and was staying with his colleague. Dana was devastated and didn't know where to turn. She explained that she had distanced herself from her own family years ago due to their disapproval of her marriage to Adam. Seeing Dana so broken and alone, I couldn't turn her away. I offered to let her stay with me for as long as she needed. At first, things were relatively smooth. Dana was respectful of my space and seemed grateful for the support. We'd often stay up late talking about her relationship with Adam, her feelings of betrayal, and her fears for the future. As days turned into weeks, I noticed Dana becoming more comfortable in my home. She started taking over household chores, rearranging things in the kitchen, and acting as if she was a permanent resident rather than a temporary guest. While I appreciated her help, I began to feel a bit uncomfortable with how quickly she had settled in. Meanwhile, Adam's reaction to Dana staying with me was less than positive. He started showing up unannounced, demanding to speak with Dana or arguing with me about taking sides. He accused me of interfering in their marriage and claimed that Dana was manipulating me for sympathy. One particularly heated argument occurred when Adam arrived at my house to find Dana cooking dinner in my kitchen. He exploded, saying that Dana had no right to make herself at home in my house and that I was enabling her to avoid dealing with their divorce. Dana overheard and came into the room, leading to a massive fight between the three of us. As the weeks passed, I found myself increasingly caught in the middle of Adam and Dana's crumbling relationship. Family dinners became tense affairs, with our parents trying to mediate between Adam and me. Friends started asking questions about why I was letting Dana stay with me, and I found myself constantly defending my decision to help someone in need. Now, I'm left feeling torn between my loyalty to my brother and my desire to help Dana, who I've come to see as a friend. I'm not sure how to navigate this complex situation without damaging my relationships with both of them. The stress of the situation is starting to affect my work at the cafe, and I'm beginning to wonder if I've made a mistake by getting involved at all. Update 1: It's been 2 weeks since my original post, and the situation has only grown more complicated. The tension between Adam and me has escalated to the point where we're barely speaking. He's been telling family members and mutual friends that I'm siding with Dana and making his life more difficult. Our parents, who have always tried to stay neutral in conflicts between Adam and me, have started to express concern about my decision to let Dana stay. They called me last week, saying that Adam had been to visit them and was extremely upset about the whole situation. My mom suggested that perhaps it would be best if Dana found somewhere else to stay, as her presence in my home was causing problems for everyone. I tried to explain my perspective to my parents, but I could tell they were conflicted. They've always taught us to help those in need, but they also hate seeing their children at odds with each other. The conversation left me feeling frustrated and misunderstood. Some of our extended family members have also gotten involved. My cousin Lisa, who has always been close to Adam, called me to ask why I was choosing Dana over family. I spent nearly an hour on the phone with her, trying to explain that I wasn't choosing sides, but simply helping someone who had nowhere else to go. Lisa seemed skeptical, and I got the feeling that Adam had already given her his version of events. Meanwhile, Dana's behavior has started to change in ways that are making me uncomfortable. At first, I appreciated her help around the house. She would cook meals, do laundry, and keep things tidy. But recently, she started making changes without consulting me first. Last Tuesday, I came home from a long day at the cafe to find that Dana had completely reorganized my bedroom closet. She said she thought it would be more efficient this way, but I couldn't help feeling that she had overstepped a boundary. I didn't say anything at the time because I didn't want to seem ungrateful, but it left me feeling uneasy in my own home. Then, a few days ago, I overheard Dana on the phone with someone, I'm not sure who, talking about her living situation. She was saying things like, "I just need a little more time, and once I'm more settled here, I'll figure it out." The conversation made me wonder if Dana had any plans to move out or if she was looking for work. When I asked her about it later, Dana became defensive. She said she was still processing everything that had happened and wasn't ready to leave yet. She reminded me of how difficult it was for her to find a job without any recent work experience, especially given the emotional state she was in. I understood her perspective, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. The situation came to a head yesterday when Adam showed up at my house unannounced. He seemed calmer than during his previous visits, but there was an underlying tension in his demeanor. He asked to speak with me privately, and once we were alone, he dropped a bombshell. He was considering involving lawyers if I didn't make Dana leave. I was shocked by Adam's threat. He explained that having Dana live with me was complicating the divorce proceedings and that her continued presence in my home was making it difficult for him to move on with his life. He accused Dana of using me to manipulate the situation and delay the inevitable. Before I could respond, Dana walked into the room, having overheard part of our conversation. What followed was another huge argument, with Dana accusing Adam of trying to make her homeless and Adam countering that she was taking advantage of my kindness. I found myself standing between them, literally and figuratively, as they hurled accusations at each other. The argument ended with Adam storming out and Dana locking herself in the guest room. I was left feeling overwhelmed and conflicted. On one hand, I understood Adam's frustration. If what he was saying was true, then Dana's presence in my home could be complicating their legal situation. On the other hand, I couldn't bring myself to throw Dana out when she clearly had nowhere else to go. As I sit here writing this update, I'm at a loss for what to do next. The situation has grown far beyond what I initially signed up for when I offered Dana a place to stay. I'm starting to feel the strain in all areas of my life. My relationship with my brother is damaged, my parents are upset, and I'm constantly walking on eggshells in my own home. I've considered reaching out to a mutual friend who's a family therapist, hoping she might be able to mediate the situation or at least offer some advice. But I'm worried that involving more people will only complicate things further. For now, I'm trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy in my daily life. I go to work at the cafe, try to keep up with my hobbies, and do my best to create some space between myself and the ongoing drama. But it's becoming increasingly clear that something needs to change, and soon. I just wish I knew what the right course of action was. Update 2: It's been a month since my last update, and I've uncovered information that has completely changed my perspective on the situation. After Adam's last visit and his threat to involve lawyers, I decided to do some digging into Dana's situation. I felt uncomfortable about it, but I needed to know if there was any truth to Adam's accusations. I reached out to some mutual friends who knew both Adam and Dana well. What I learned left me feeling shocked and betrayed. According to these friends, Dana had known about Adam's affair for months before she showed up at my door. Not only that, but she had apparently been planning to use the situation to her advantage. One friend, Maria, told me that Dana had confided in her about discovering Adam's affair nearly 3 months before she confronted him. According to Maria, Dana had decided to keep quiet about her knowledge and gather evidence instead. She had talked about wanting to teach Adam a lesson and ensure that she got as much as possible in the divorce settlement. Another friend, John, mentioned that Dana had been asking around about divorce lawyers specializing in infidelity cases weeks before she supposedly found out about the affair. He said he thought it was odd at the time but didn't want to get involved in their personal business. Armed with this new information, I decided to confront Dana. When I first brought up what I'd heard, she denied everything. She accused me of not trusting her and listening to gossip. But as I presented more details, her story began to unravel. After nearly an hour of back and forth, Dana finally admitted the truth. She had indeed known about the affair for months and had stayed with me partly to make Adam's life more difficult. She explained that she was angry and hurt, and didn't want to just walk away quietly while Adam got to start a new life with his mistress. I listened to Dana's explanation, trying to understand her perspective. I could see how hurt and betrayed she felt by Adam's actions. However, I couldn't shake the feeling that she had used me as a pawn in her plan. I told her that while I sympathized with her pain, I couldn't continue to be part of her scheme. Dana's reaction to my words was intense. She accused me of abandoning her just like everyone else in her life had. She said that I was choosing Adam over her, that I had never really been her friend. Her words hurt, especially after all the support I had given her over the past few months. After my conversation with Dana, I felt I needed to talk to Adam. I called him and asked if we could meet in person. When we got together at a local coffee shop, I told him everything I had learned. For the first time since this whole ordeal began, I saw genuine remorse in my brother's eyes. Adam admitted that he had handled the situation terribly from the start. He said that he should have been honest with Dana as soon as he realized his feelings for his colleague. He also apologized for the way he had treated me, acknowledging that he shouldn't have put me in the middle of his marital problems. During our conversation, Adam revealed that he and his girlfriend, the colleague he had been having an affair with, had broken up. He said the stress of the situation and the guilt he felt had put too much strain on their relationship. He seemed genuinely regretful about the pain he had caused to everyone involved. Now, I find myself in an even more complicated situation than before. I feel betrayed by Dana, who I had come to see as a friend. I'm angry that she used me as part of her plan to get back at Adam. At the same time, I'm disappointed in Adam for his infidelity and the way he handled the aftermath. I'm left wondering what my next steps should be. Should I ask Dana to leave immediately? Do I give her some time to find another place to stay? And what about my relationship with Adam? Can we rebuild the trust that has been broken? I'm also concerned about the potential legal implications of the situation. If Dana has been staying with me as part of a strategy to influence the divorce proceedings, could I somehow be implicated in any legal issues? As I write this update, I'm feeling overwhelmed by the complexity of the situation. What started as an act of kindness, offering a place to stay to someone in need, has turned into a tangled web of lies, manipulation, and hurt feelings. I'm not sure how to proceed, but I know that I need to prioritize my own well-being and peace of mind. Update 3. It's been 3 months since my last update, and I've finally taken decisive action to resolve the situation. After much consideration and several sleepless nights, I decided that I needed to ask Dana to move out of my home. I approached the conversation with Dana carefully, trying to be as compassionate as possible while also being firm in my decision. I explained that while I understood her pain and anger towards Adam, I could no longer be involved in their situation. I told her that I felt betrayed by her dishonesty and that I needed to prioritize my own well-being. Dana's initial reaction was anger and disbelief. She accused me of abandoning her and siding with Adam. However, as our conversation progressed, she seemed to realize that she had overstepped boundaries and taken advantage of my kindness. In the end, she agreed to move out, though she was clearly unhappy about it. I gave Dana 2 weeks to find alternative accommodation. During this time, I helped her research affordable apartments in the area and even reached out to some friends to see if anyone knew of any job openings that might suit her skills. Despite the tension between us, I wanted to ensure that she wouldn't end up in a difficult situation. Dana moved out last week, and I finally have my house, and my peace of mind, back. It's been a strange adjustment, getting used to living alone again after months of having a housemate. But with each passing day, I feel more relaxed and at ease in my own space. As for my relationship with Adam, things are still complicated. He has reached out several times since our last conversation, attempting to rebuild our relationship. He's apologized repeatedly for his actions and the way he handled the situation with Dana. While I appreciate his efforts, I'm not sure I'm ready to fully forgive him yet. I've told Adam that I need some time and space to process everything that's happened. I've explained that while I love him as my brother, his actions have damaged my trust in him. I've suggested that we take some time apart to reflect on our relationship and how we want to move forward. For now, I've decided to block both Adam and Dana's numbers on my phone. It wasn't an easy decision, but I feel it's necessary for my own healing process. I've also muted their social media accounts to avoid being constantly reminded of the situation. I've been focusing on my own life and well-being. I've thrown myself into work at the cafe, even starting to explore the possibility of expanding the business. I've also reconnected with friends I had somewhat neglected during the months I was caught up in Adam and Dana's drama. My parents have been supportive of my decision to distance myself from the situation. They've expressed regret for pressuring me to side with Adam earlier and have promised to respect my need for space from both him and Dana. This experience has taught me valuable lessons about setting boundaries, the importance of honesty in relationships, and the need to prioritize my own well-being. While it was a difficult and often painful journey, I believe I've come out of it stronger and wiser. Moving forward, I plan to focus on my own personal growth and happiness. I've started seeing a therapist to help me process the emotional toll of the past few months and to work on setting healthier boundaries in my relationships. It's been helpful to have a neutral party to talk to about everything that's happened. I've also decided to take a short vacation next month, something I haven't done in years. I'm planning a solo trip to a nearby beach town, where I can relax, reflect, and recharge. I'm looking forward to having some time to myself, away from the stress and drama of recent events. As for my relationships with Adam and Dana, I'm taking things one day at a time. I know that eventually, I'll need to address the situation with Adam and decide how I want our relationship to look moving forward. For now, though, I'm giving myself permission to focus on my own needs and healing. This whole experience has been a stark reminder of how quickly life can become complicated and how important it is to maintain clear boundaries, even with family. While I don't regret trying to help Dana initially, I've learned that it's crucial to consider all aspects of a situation before getting involved. I'm grateful for the support of my friends and the rest of my family during this difficult time. Their understanding and encouragement have been invaluable as I've navigated